Hello, I am Girish Krishnani. And you are watching 5-Minute Learnings. This is the fifth video in the series of cognitive biases. We shall focus on the actor-observer bias in this video. The actor-observer bias is a term in social psychology that refers to a tendency to attribute one's own actions to external causes while attributing other people's behaviors to internal causes. It is a type of attributional bias that plays a role in how we perceive and interact with other people. Essentially, we tend to make different attributions depending upon whether we are the actor or the observer in a situation. The concept of actor-observer asymmetry was first introduced in 1971 by social psychologists Jones and Nisbet. The actor-observer bias tends to be more pronounced in situations where the outcomes are negative. In a situation where we experience something negative, we will often blame the situation or circumstances rather than ourselves. When something negative happens to another person, we may more often blame the individual for their personal choices, behaviors, and actions. For example, when a doctor tells someone that their cholesterol levels are elevated, the patient might blame factors that are outside of their control, such as genetic or environmental influences. But what about when someone else finds out their cholesterol levels are too high? In such situations, people attribute it to things such as poor diet and lack of exercise. In other words, when it's happening to you, it's outside of your control. But when it's happening to someone else, it's all their fault. As biases go, this one feels pretty self-serving. There are a few different signs that the actor-observer bias might be influencing interpretations of an event. Some indicators include blaming other people for causing events without acknowledging the role you played, being biased by blaming strangers for what happens to them but attributing outcomes to situational forces when it comes to friends and family members, focusing only on the negative aspects of a situation and ignoring the positives, ignoring internal causes that contribute to the outcome of the things that happen to you, not paying attention to situational factors when assessing other people's behavior, placing too much blame on outside forces when things don't turn out the way you want them to. Researchers have found that people tend to experience this bias less frequently with people they know well, such as close friends and family members. Why? Since they have more information about the needs, motivations, and thoughts of those individuals, people are more likely to account for the external forces that impact behavior. When we are the actor or participant in a given situation, we have a more difficult time seeing our situation objectively. However, when we are the observers, we can view the situation from a more distant perspective. The actor-observer bias can be problematic and often leads to misunderstandings and arguments. During an argument, you might blame another person for an event without considering other factors that also played a part. The actor-observer bias also leads us to avoid taking responsibility for our actions. Instead of acknowledging our role, we may place the blame elsewhere. This can create conflict in interpersonal relationships. The actor-observer bias also makes it more difficult for people to recognize the importance of changing their behavior to prevent similar problems in the future. Completely eliminating the actor-observer bias isn't possible, but there are steps that you can take to help minimize its influence. Strategies that can be helpful include: don't blame the victim. The actor-observer bias contributes to the tendency to blame victims for their misfortune. Instead of considering other causes, we often immediately rush to judgment, suggesting the victim's actions caused the situation. When you find yourself doing this, take a step back and remind yourself that you might not be seeing the whole picture. Instead, try to be empathetic and consider other forces that might have shaped the events. Focus on solving the problem. While your first instinct might be to figure out what caused a situation, directing your energy toward finding a solution may help take the focus off of assigning blame. It can also give you a clearer picture of all of the factors that played a role, which can ultimately help you make more accurate judgments. Practice gratitude. Instead of blaming other causes when something terrible happens, spend some moments focusing on feeling gratitude. While you might have experienced a setback, maintaining a more optimistic and grateful attitude can benefit your well-being. It may also help you consider some of the other factors that played a part in causing the situation, whether those were internal or external. That's all on the actor-observer bias from my side. In the next video we shall learn about the false consensus effect. Hope you found this video useful. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel, 5-Minute Learnings. And do remember to hit the bell icon, to get notified of the new videos. Thanks for watching.